Last week I had the opportunity to play the new Modern Warfare 2 campaign a week early, and I just really want to talk about the experience because I think it is really good and one of the best COD campaigns to date. Before I begin though, I do want to say I'm not going to be discussing any story spoilers in this video. I'm only going to be discussing gameplay and mission design, graphics, performance, that kind of thing. Basically everything aside from the story. So if you haven't played it yet, rest assured I will not be spoiling the story, but this video can give you a little insight on what to expect from the gameplay should you decide to pick it up. Graphically, the game is gorgeous. There was not a moment in my time playing where I was like, wow, this looks kind of bad. Every single mission's environment looked very well detailed, and they really did a good job of immersing yourself into the world. The cutscenes were shot very well. There's two different types of cutscenes throughout the game. The main ones are the ones where it legit looks like a movie playing before your eyes. Those are the ones that are shot outside of gameplay that are just pre-recorded MP4s that play basically before missions. And then there's the other cutscenes that are rendered in gameplay that do look worse because they're obviously rendered in gameplay using the in-game model of the characters. Again, I'm not going to show any of that stuff to avoid spoilers, but yeah, graphically the game looked great. Definitely the best visuals out of a COD game this far. It looks even better than MW19, which was the previous best looking COD game in my opinion. Since performance and visuals often go together, let's just get that one out of the way right now as well. I played on PC off of a 3080 Ti and an i9 9900K CPU with 16 gigs of RAM. Had my settings maxed out at 1440p, and the game was super smooth, more so than I thought it was going to be actually. And that was while I was also streaming and recording simultaneously off the GPU in OBS, and it still was super smooth for the most part. The only part I can really remember having performance hiccups that were noticeable was in this mission where we had to destroy a tank, and there was a lot of destructible buildings scattered around as cover. I did have some noticeable frame rate drops in that mission, but everything else, it was really smooth. Modern Warfare 2's campaign style definitely closely resembles Modern Warfare 2019, which I guess is expected considering this is the sequel, but you can definitely tell where they tried to improve on MW19's style. You can definitely notice they tried to add some variety to the gameplay of MW2. Most COD campaigns have you doing basically the same stuff, right? You're in a huge battle, you move through the level in a linear fashion, slowly progressing to the objectives as you shoot your way through loads of bad guys. Maybe there's a couple of stealth missions scattered about. That's usually how the COD campaign missions go, aside from maybe a few outliers. In this campaign, there are so many different gameplay elements integrated into the missions that I wouldn't necessarily say are new as a whole, but are new to the COD franchise. For example, there's a mission where you're watching over your ally through a camera scattered around the level, and you can switch to each camera if you have a line of sight to that camera. And you have to basically guide your friend through the course, instructing him to take out different enemies at different times. It reminded me so much of Watch Dogs, where you had to do this exact same thing, traversing the level through the camera vision. Then there's another mission where you have to find a way to get to the third floor of this building, and there are a few different ways you can do it. And this reminded me so much of the Hitman games, where you can throw bottles to attract enemies into a closet, where you can then kill them and have their body be hidden in there. And one of the most unique missions in COD ever is where you're left with no items and you have to basically sneak your way around from building to building, crafting different things like lockpicks, molotovs, explosive traps, avoiding enemies along the way, or killing them if you want to. And this is probably one of my favorite missions just because of how different it was compared to every other mission I've seen. If you're used to the usual COD campaign mission design, this is probably going to be a fairly difficult mission. I even died a few times doing it myself because it is kind of a trial and error type of mission. But just the atmosphere of it though, you're slowly walking through these buildings in the pitch dark with only a flashlight, trying to scavenge for items while avoiding enemies at the same time. It really reminded me of like a survival horror game almost. It felt like I was playing a Resident Evil game, like it had those horror vibes to it. Dude, this is like a this fucking horror game right now. Or like I was playing survival from The Division, going around and scavenging items in the dark. If DMZ gives off similar vibes from this mission, I can definitely see myself liking it a lot if it has this kind of gameplay. The main difference between MW2's campaign here compared to some of the previous campaigns is that in this campaign, it will often just throw you into a level, give you a couple of objectives, and it's up to you to decide how you want to get there or how you want to accomplish those tasks. It's a lot more open to player choice, and I think it's a massive improvement for the franchise rather than just having the game guide you through every level. I know not a lot of players who are used to the COD mission formula might not like that. It requires a lot more strategic thinking and planning than what we're used to with COD gameplay, but in my opinion, I think it's better this way. Of course, not every single mission is like this. There are some that are more of the COD style where you're just in gunfights a lot, but these missions here and there kind of break up the pace a bit. There's also a lot of subtle and obvious references to the older Modern Warfare titles, which if you played those games, you will definitely notice them. And when I say obvious, I mean there are two whole missions that are huge callbacks to COD 4, the AC-130 mission and the All Ghillied Up inspired mission. And there's probably even more than that I just didn't pick up on at the time that I played it. And the subtle references and nods will definitely put a smile on your face if you did play the older COD games. Easter eggs are scattered throughout the levels in a very good way. There are missions that I passed and afterwards someone told me there was like a weapon or item that I missed, which made me want to go back and replay it again to try to get that item. And you know how I said earlier it expands on MW19's gameplay? The Clean House mission DNA is kind of infused in almost all of the missions in MW2. There will be moments where you're clearing a building and enemies will just pop out and you have to make a split-second decision whether to shoot them or not. That happens much more often in the missions compared to where it's just in Clean House in MW19. There are just a few criticisms or critiques that I have about the campaign. One major bug that I had was a progress halting one. I think one of the AIs got stuck on a previous part of the mission and the objective was to wait until the coast was clear, but I couldn't go back to kill the guy because the checkpoint had already passed, so I couldn't just restart from the checkpoint to fix it. So what I had to eventually do was just restart from the beginning of the mission, which was rather annoying. But fortunately, that was the only time that happened throughout the entire game, so I guess I just must be really good at finding bugs, I don't know. As much as I've praised the mission design, one mission that I didn't like as much was the convoy one. I think this one was a tad too difficult personally, because there's a part where you have to focus on the enemy shooting at you from behind, the health of your own vehicle, and also mines being spammed in front of you faster than a God mode van in GTA Online. And the only way to shoot the enemies trying to blow your car up is to lean out the window and shoot at them, but while you do that, you can't control your vehicle, so you're gonna get blasted by mines, which at that point will render your vehicle useless, and you'll have to jump to another one, which is a whole process in of itself. The jumping from vehicle to vehicle is entirely in gameplay, it's not scripted, so if you miss, you're either getting ran over or you have to sprint forever to find another vehicle. And for some reason, every single vehicle that gets blown up by the mines somehow just turns into you to fuck you up. I just was not having a good time on this mission, as you can tell by the clips you're about to see. Dude, it's impossible. How does the game expect you to lean out and shoot and avoid mines at the same time? Matter of fact, I'm taking your truck too. Why does every vehicle crash into me after blowing up? Holy shit, every vehicle just crashes into my ass. I mean, what do you want me to do? Another criticism I have is with the AI, specifically on the ghillie suit mission. There's a part where more backup arrives and you have the choice to engage them or you can just let them pass. Well, I, for the life of me, could not get them to not notice me. They would walk past me, not spot me at all, and then like 15 seconds later, I would be in the exact same spot. I wouldn't have moved at all, and they would just randomly start firing at me. What the fuck? Okay, there's no way they should fucking see me right here.
5 minutes later.
What the fuck? How are you seeing me? Fuck you. Also, another small critique about this mission. I would have liked to have more music in this mission. One of the things that made the original All Ghillied Up from COD 4 so awesome was the music that played while you're sneaking about. And here it's just a bit too quiet. It really could use some background music to set the tone a bit more. And really the final complaint I have is with the armored guys. I'm fine with them having more body armor, but these dudes have the most advanced bulletproof helmet technology I have ever seen. You could unload half a mag of AR bullets into their face and it'd still be standing. And that's on recruit difficulty. I felt like I was in John Wick 3 when he's trying to fight off those armored guys in the hotel sequence. He's just walking up and putting like 8 rounds in their head point blank to make sure they're dead. Hey, maybe that's what they were going for, I don't know. And I guess it wouldn't be as bad if they weren't used as often as they were. The game kind of spams them at you, especially later on. And they're no joke. A lot of the time they'll rush you with shotguns and you'll just get annihilated if you're not careful. Dude, the armored guys are so annoying. The armor guys are so annoying. They just fucking tank so many shots. There's no way he's still alive, bro. There's no fucking way. Where the fuck did he come from? I think either the amount of those armored enemies that appears, or maybe the amount of headshot protection their helmets grant should be lowered, maybe just a little bit. Alright, so I know I said the armored enemies were the final complaint, but I do have one more thing to mention here. I wish there were better rewards for completing the campaign on higher difficulties, because there really is no incentive to complete it on anything but recruit unless you're an achievement hunter. As long as you just complete it on any difficulty you want, you'll get all the campaign rewards for multiplayer. You know, it would have been sick to see a unique operator skin you get only when you complete the campaign on realism difficulty, or even some cool calling cards for completing some of the harder achievements. Sure, getting the achievements are cool, but only you see those. No one else is really going to notice or care about that. I want something that I could take into multiplayer and be like, yeah, motherfuckers, that's right, I beat the campaign on realism, fucking notice me. And that's really kind of missing here. So that's about all I have to say that is negative about the campaign. I really enjoyed myself for 95% of it. Really well done. Infinity Ward still has yet to disappoint me with one of their campaigns. They have all been great. And this isn't really a spoiler, but the ending highly suggests either a third game, or what's more likely based on what leakers have said, campaign DLC to continue the story for year 2, and I am all for it. I can't wait to play that. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more content. Let me know what you guys thought about the campaign if you've had the chance to play it. Just try to keep it spoiler free for the people who haven't played it yet. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day. I mean, if she's the one interrogating me, I don't really mind.